Is this the collapse of the US dollar? In this video, we're going to talk about incredible breaking global news when it comes to China creating a gold-backed yuan and Saudi Arabia threatening to destabilize the US economy. Now, just a few days ago, on April 10th, it has come out that the Federal Reserve Chairman, Janet Yellen, has been having many secret and private meetings with Barack Obama. The last time this has happened between Ben Bernanke and George W. Bush, we have had the housing market crash in 2008. The number of meetings, the secrecy, the urgency of them makes people speculate. And of course, the news coming out of this is directly before the news from China and Saudi Arabia going against the US dollar. But what do you expect in a financial market that is run by the very crooks who defraud us, who set up these bailouts for themselves after defrauding, lying, and manipulating the economic market in 2008 to benefit themselves so they would always come up top? These people create the problem. These people pay themselves off with bailouts and then slap themselves on the wrist, like we see Goldman Sachs here, who received the $5 billion fine but won't actually pay all of that. They will pay a lot less than that. No one in the business has the balls to confront these criminals. But of course, we went up to Ben Bernanke right afterwards and we asked him,
how can the American public trust you when you engineered and kept secret the largest bailout in the history of the world?
How can we trust you when you engineered the largest bailout, the secret bailout in the history of the world? This criminal grabbed my microphone and tried to rip it away from me. Look at him, scouring away to security, like, get him out of here, get out of here. I told him, I'm not a dog, stop talking to me like a dog. Let's talk about Bilderberg, how about that? No, of course, get kicked out of there. Ben Bernanke faced off with the biggest financial crimes that is being committed by the very people who run the financial institutions in this country. Now, of course, these meetings with Janet Yellen and Barack Obama came right before China just announced a new gold-backed yuan that would give them control over the price of gold. But in a stunning move, China actually said no to the dollar when it comes to their new gold-backed currency. In a shocking move, likely to crush the U.S. economy overnight, China is refusing to make its new gold-backed yuan convertible from or to U.S. dollars. This currency was just introduced yesterday on April 19th, 2016. And of course, we're seeing the ramifications of this as stocks are stumbling and the dollar is at a 10-month low, saying that this will be the collapse of the U.S. dollar. Of course, the U.S. dollar is mainly as powerful as it is because of U.S. hegemony, because of other countries using the dollar to trade, to buy oil in. And now, with pissing off Russia, with the latest geopolitical moves in Syria, they have aligned themselves with China, and there is a new economic war. Of course, the conflict between the United States and China in the South Asian Sea has made the situation even worse. But we have to understand the ramifications are playing off in this country. 11% of Intel's workforce has just been laid off. Many people are saying this is because of the $15 minimum wage requirement, but the economic troubles go way beyond that here in the United States. They're saying the U.S. economy bubble will burst at any time because it is just built on utter fraud. And similarly, in China, their $1 trillion bond market is also built on total fraud. Again, it's all illusion here. Now, when it comes to Saudi Arabia, the second half of this push against the US dollar, we know clearly that Saudi Arabia played a major role along with other countries. People are concentrating on Saudi Arabia now, but other countries were also involved in this. But the role of Saudi Arabia in 9/11 is finally being exposed. Even Obama's national security advisor, Ben Rhodes, said when it comes to 9/11, when it comes to Al-Qaeda, so a lot, quote, this is what he says, quote, so a lot of the money, that seed money, if you will, for what became Al-Qaeda came out of Saudi Arabia. He doesn't believe the government was actively trying to prevent this from happening. Again, even Obama's national security advisor saying Saudi Arabia, yep, financed the 9/11 hijackers. 15 of the 19 hijackers came from Saudi Arabia. They were flown out of this country on September 13th when no one was allowed to fly. And of course, the United States and Saudi Arabia have been financing radical Islamic terrorists for a number of years now, not only with Al-Qaeda, but they actively did it with ISIS inside of Syria in order to destabilize the secular government of Bashar al-Assad and overthrow him because he wasn't playing with U.S. foreign policy. He was also threatening U.S. hegemony around the world. But now with Saudi Arabia, ultimately threatening economic blackmail if their role is exposed from 9/11, the United States loses a key player in their U.S. hegemony because Saudi Arabia is now threatening to get rid of all of their money out of the United States, which would cripple the U.S. economy if their role in 9/11 is exposed. And this is all coming because 9/11 victims' family members are having a law in Congress that would allow them to sue Saudi Arabia for their role behind 9/11. And that's why Saudi Arabia is saying we're going to get all of our money out. And of course, this would have a devastating effect on the U.S. economy. Again, the United States is actively protecting the financiers, the people who did 9/11. It's an active cover-up. Paul Ryan and Barack Obama are opposing this bill. And their only justification for the cover-up of 9/11, the true criminals who made 9/11 happen, is, well, quote, if we let Americans sue Saudis for 9/11, foreigners will begin suing the United States nonstop. Again, just the most absurd statement by our president saying, no, we can't expose how Saudi Arabia was a small part. Other countries also financed them, and other countries also had planning in 9/11, not just Saudi Arabia. But now Saudi Arabia is the main push, and now Barack Obama is going even to the extent saying, no, we can't sue them for doing 9/11. We have to cover them up. We have to protect the criminals who created the largest terrorist attack on American soil. This is just clear. The 9/11 truthers, I have been out there in the streets saying this. Since 2004 in the streets, I've been spat at. I've been called a crazy conspiracy theorist. I've been saying all along, we have been lied to about 9/11. The government is covering up what actually happened, and this is full proof. If you needed more proof, you are crazy. This is it. This is it. 9/11 has just been blown out of the water, and these Saudis, they pay off these politicians, and it's clear. Saudi Arabia has given millions of dollars to this criminal Hillary Clinton, who will be the next president of the United States because the game is rigged for her. And now Saudi Arabia, which has given her millions and millions of dollars, even before, years ago, Hillary Clinton, it's been exposed through her leaked emails that she was celebrating selling weapons to Saudi Arabia when she was Secretary of State, allowing cluster bombs to Saudi Arabia, arming their horrible war criminal path in Yemen. Meanwhile, she went on stage and said, no, Bashar al-Assad is bad for using barrel bombs in Syria. Meanwhile, she's financing and giving barrel bombs to Saudi Arabia, which is using them against the people of Yemen. Again, there's no criticism by the U.S. government, by the U.S. media against Saudi Arabia because they are paid and bought off by these rich families. And again, with Saudi Arabia now losing America as their key ally, with this conflict with Saudi Arabia, the prompting up of the petrodollar, with the new Chinese-backed currency, with Russia going against the U.S. petrodollar worldwide, the U.S. hegemony is at its death throes. It is almost over, which will have huge economic ramifications here because we're seeing an economic warfare unfold, blow up right in front of our face with China, Russia, Saudi Arabia now going against the U.S. dollar. Will the U.S. dollar collapse? It's only a matter of time. When this will happen, I do not know. Let me know in the comment section below what you're seeing through your research. Of course, all the links to all the research will be in the description below. Subscribe. And if you are interested, check out our sponsor, Healthy Emergency Storable Food with GMO-free ingredients. We have special exclusive offers for the WeAreChange audience that you should check out at wearechange.org/store. Buying these products will help support this independent news organization to be run for you and by you. And also you can buy a product that will help you, that we truly do believe in, that we tested ourselves. Subscribe. We're going to have a lot more important geopolitical information that you won't see anywhere else here on youtube.com/WeAreChange.